It is required that Christian wives submit unto their husbands as unto the Lord. It is an act of obedience. Our submission, along with our husband's leadership, gets us in alignment with God's power to cover, to heal, to bless, and to favor us in our marriages, so that we're not just given in marriage, but given in holy marriage, fruitful marriage, loving marriages. A man that is not fully submitted to God cannot love you in a way that honors God and honors you. So it is important that you are marrying someone who is in full submission to God. Hi, I'm Kula. This is my channel, Her Life for God's Glory. So glad that you are here. Today we are talking about dating standard number 7. This is the last standard in my Dating Standards with Kula series, where we've been looking at 7 standards you want to have as a Christian woman when dating to marry a godly man. Standards you want to have for yourself and not expectations you're putting on someone else. Y'all, it is the last standard, and I'm so excited to share this last one with you. If you have not checked out the other videos in this series, the link to those videos will be in the description box down below. So, dating standard number 7 is this. You want to make it your standard that you choose to marry someone you can, number 7, submit to. Wait. I see you. You're getting ready to turn off this video. I know sometimes when we talk about the word submission from a biblical perspective, it makes people uncomfortable. But remember that with each of these videos, my goal is to come from a Christian perspective when it comes to dating and marriage. So that's what I'm going to do right now. In Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22 to 23, it reads, "Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord, because the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. He is the Savior of the body." So just like it is not a recommendation, but a requirement that a Christian husband is to love his wife as Christ loves the church and give himself up for her, it is required that Christian wives submit unto their husbands as unto the Lord. It is an act of obedience. Our submission, along with our husband's leadership, gets us in alignment with God's power to cover, to heal, to bless, and to favor us in our marriages, so that we're not just given in marriage, but given in holy marriage, fruitful marriage, loving marriages. So what type of man should a Christian woman submit to? Number 1, it is to a husband, not to a boyfriend or someone you're simply living with, a husband. Number 2, choose to marry a man who is fully submitted to God. He can only love you like Christ loves you and lead you as Christ leads you if he is in full submission to God himself. A man that is not fully submitted to God cannot love you in a way that honors God and honors you. So it is important that you are marrying someone who is in full submission to God. So here are 5 questions you want to ask yourself before you say I do and get married. Question number 1. Is this man a good steward over his time, his finances, or his money, I should say, and his relationships? With his finances, is he somebody who manages his money well? Not perfectly, but well. He is going to be responsible when y'all get married. He will be responsible by order of the Lord to provide, protect, and lead his home. And if he's someone who doesn't manage his money well, if he's somebody that buys what he wants and begs for what he needs, if he's someone who spends too much, too fast, too often, then that could be really detrimental on your relationship moving forward. So it's important to observe, prayerfully observe right now while you are dating, how he handles his money. It's also important to observe how he handles his time and his relationships. What does he spend his time doing? Is he still club hopping? Are we still hanging out with people that we shouldn't be hanging out with because they are a bad influence on us? Those are the questions you want to ask yourself, or the observations you want to make as you all are going through this dating, as you're going through this courtship process. Question number 2, is he mature and responsible? In other words, is he demonstrating manhood, which is responsibility under God, Or is he still demonstrating boyhood? That is lack of maturity, still dependent on the opinion of others, and lacking responsibility. And you can be demonstrating boyhood at any age. A mature and responsible man demonstrates his willingness to leave his mother and father and to cling to his wife. Ephesians 5:31 says, "For this reason, a man will leave his mother and father," the reason being marriage, "will leave his father and mother and cling to his wife, and the two will become one flesh." So this man respects his mother and father, spiritual leaders, and elders without putting them in the role of God. He makes decisions for himself. He makes them in good counsel, but he is able to make wise decisions for himself. Question number 3 you want to ask yourself is, in my absence, if I weren't around and he had to make a decision without my input, can I trust this man to make a decision that is profitable, beneficial, and considerate of me, our marriage, and our household? You want to be with a Christian man that is demonstrating the principle outlined in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. That is, he lives in a way that is considerate and understanding of his wife. So while you all are dating, you should be observing to see what kind of decisions does he make. Yes, we want him making decisions for himself, but does he consider others in the decision-making process? Those that need to be considered in that decision? Or is it all about me, myself, and I? Are his decisions self-centered or self-seeking? Does he make them despite of or in spite of other people? You want to be with somebody that makes decisions for himself and is considerate of others, because when he gets married and when y'all get married, as the leader of the household, he will need to be able to consider others in his decision making. Question number 4 that you want to ask yourself is, does this man give full vent to his anger? It says in Proverbs 29 verse 11 that a fool gives full vent to his anger, but a wise man keeps it in check. Because he is going to be the pastor or leader of your home, the provider, and is called to be a protector, the man that you are considering marrying needs to be somebody that is able to control his emotions and control his anger. It's not that he doesn't get angry, and it's not that he doesn't get mad, but somebody who gives full vent to their anger can be dangerous. You want to have a husband that is able to direct his home with wisdom instead of destroying his home with anger. Anger is not a yellow flag, it's a red flag and should be taken seriously. What may not seem like a big deal right now, getting angry with the motorist that crosses in front of him, telling off a server at the restaurant who messes up his meal, may not seem like a big deal right now, but in the future, that can be magnified. In the future and in marriage, that can turn into a whole different kind of beast. So be wary and be careful that you are asking yourself this question. Honestly, is this somebody who does give full vent to their anger? And don't handle that as a yellow flag. Treat that as a red flag. Stop and remove yourself from the situation. It may be painful right now, but it will benefit you and your household in the long run. Be with somebody that is able to control their emotions. That's the wise man. That's who you want to be with. And question number 5, is this somebody that would be a great role model for my children or future children? In other words, is this somebody that they could admire? Not because he's perfect, but because he's consistent. Is he the kind of guy that your son, your future son, could say, I want to be like my dad. I want to be the kind of Christian man, father, and husband my dad is? Is he the kind of man that your future daughter or your daughter would be able to say, I want to marry someone like my dad? Is he somebody that you yourself admire? It is really difficult. Or let me phrase it another way. It is easier to submit to somebody that you admire and respect. And that is it. That is dating standard number 7. Make it your standard that you choose to marry someone you can submit to. But wait, I did tell you all that there was a bonus. In the last video, I mentioned that there was a bonus. And so I'm going to share that bonus with you right now. Make it your standard that you choose to marry someone you are physically attracted to and emotionally connected to. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, sis, why did you wait till the end of the dating series to share that? Well, that is because physical attraction and emotional connection are overemphasized in our society. We know that we want to be with somebody that we're attracted to and that we have an emotional connection to, that we complement. But the thing that oftentimes gets ignored is the spiritual aspect, which is able to sustain your relationship. See, the physical attracts and the emotional connects, but it is the spiritual component. Your relationship to God is what is going to sustain your marriage. So I place this here because physical attraction and emotional connection should not be a non-factor, but it shouldn't be the most important factor either. My last point on here is make it your standard that you choose to marry somebody that you enjoy. Not just on the mountaintop moments, those times where you're having a really good time, you're out at a vacation, you're having a really nice dinner, not just in those moments, but when it's quiet, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be going on vacation every day. You're not going to be going out to nice dinners every day. Whether you're dating right now or in marriage, it's not going to happen every single day. So you want to be with somebody that you enjoy in quiet moments, just sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing. The other thing you want to take into consideration is this. Think about this person's vices or the things that concern you most about this person, the thing that annoys you most about this person. Got it in mind? Okay. Could you live with that for the rest of your life? This is an important question because at the end of the day, you have to do life together. You have to make decisions together. You have to go to bed with each other. So it's important that you are taking into consideration those things that not just that you like, but the things that you really don't like. And we've already discussed earlier, anger is not a yellow flag, it is a red flag. Choose to marry someone that you enjoy. If you have been enjoying this series and you like content like this, that is content on relationships and dating from a Christian perspective, then like this video and subscribe to this channel, Her Life for God's Glory. Also, if you haven't already, check out the other videos in this Dating Standards with Kula series. The link will be down below. Now, I remember when the Lord had placed this on my heart some time ago, I ran like Jonah. I questioned like Gideon. I needed a couple of fleece because I had really made a mess of my dating journey. And that was because I really didn't know how to date. I remember one day crying in my room out to God and saying, I don't know how to date. I don't know how to date. And I really need help. And I knew by this time that he should be a Christian. And what I mean by this time, that I was no longer just going to church and playing church and doing all the Christianese type things. I was really trying to walk out my relationship with the Lord. And so I knew he should be the person I date should be a Christian, but what else? I didn't have a baseline. I didn't have a framework to go from. And so I pray that this will be that for you, that this would be a starting point, a baseline, a framework to work from. It's important while we're dating that we are gaining information and knowledge with wisdom about this person that we are spending so much time with, so that we can make an informed decision about how to move forward in the future. And so I hope that that's what this dating standard does for you. It gives you a framework so that you can gather information, learn more about the person that you are dating, and make that informed decision. My prayer before I do these videos is that Christians would no longer just be given in marriage, but in holy marriages. Marriages that are fruitful and loving and joyful, that glorify God. God takes marriage seriously. It's a reflection of himself. And so we should take the process to marriage, that is dating, seriously. As always, remember the power is in your choice. So choose wisely. See you in the next video. Peace.